Anyway, really great to be with you today. And here we are for Ask Me Anything. So I'm prepared. I've got my seatbelt on. I'm not wearing a crash helmet, but I'm prepared. I'm ready for anything. So ask me anything. And if you don't, I have some things I like to say. Well, I've got some ideas. Oh, and there's Clara. Yay. This is awesome.
Well,
So here's
Desda, oh, excuse me,
what?
I had a question.
Oh, you do? Well, then let's go.
Yes.
Let's rock on.
So in the layers system, the spiritual layer, you say it has portals to different spiritual realms. How do these portals, or do they interact with the 13 realms you've also identified?
Okay, so these are a little bit different. So what we have is access points that are, I mean, I've called them portals, and I kind of don't like that word because I don't know, it just feels too woo woo. Isn't that funny? Hi, Clara. Hi, Maya. And Adrian, my gosh, and Elizabeth, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to see all of you. This is great. So great. All right. How does it compare to the 13 realms? So basically the gateways or the doorways, the gateways, the openings, the access points are in the spiritual layer. Hi, Syria. Yeah, so they're in the spiritual layer, and basically there's like a little dock off of the spiritual layer, off of the spirit river. So the spirit river goes through all 6 strata of the spiritual layer, and there's like a little dock, and you can dock your boat as you travel down the spiritual river. You can dock your boat and you can enter. Basically, it's an opening, it's a gateway, and you can open up into the realm of the deities, the realm of the angels, the realm of intuition and really insight, and then the realm of the fairies, the realm of the elementals, and finally at the bottom you can see the realm of the guides and guardians. So each of these openings are kind of mystical doorways that we pass through. We can access the 13 realms of consciousness from this place. So there are 6 strata of the spiritual layer. So that's anatomical. And then the 13 realms are not anatomical. They're cosmic. So they're more of a like the realms of consciousness. And so you actually can access them through the deity strata, the angelic strata, but that's about it. That's where you would access those 13 realms. So you move through the 13 realms. So we talk about the astral realm, the hell realm, the material realm, the subtle realm, the transitory realm, the realm of the guardians, the realm of fairy magic, the elemental realm, the animal realm, the realm of enlightenment, the angelic realm, the realm of the gods, the realm of the one. So we can enter through the spirit river into various realms, but unfortunately, they really can't be entered until you've reached a kind of awakened state. So you can't really distinguish too much between the sort of the hell realm, the material realm, the subtle realm. And so those realms are places that most people can access in their daily lives. We can all go to hell. There, there's a no access or all access pass to hell. Oh, I could make a joke. I think I will not. All right. Then there's the material realm and the great physical plane, the plane where we learn the densest of lessons. So there are these planes of existence, these realms. And in all of these realms, you can access your spirit river. In all of these realms, you can access so you can be in the hell realm and you can access the angelic. So these are places we go where we live. So I say here, the hell realm, this is the land and spirit of deep suffering, the residence of the hungry ghosts, discarnate entities seeking energy to absorb. This realm is where our sins are investigated and resolved. Punishment is meted out only by your own soul's guilt and sorrow. We define our own hell and stay as long as we need to resolve our issues. So after we die, we may go to the hell realm to resolve some things. But nobody ever has to stay there permanently. You just go to resolve. And I think calling it the hell realm is good, because basically hell is when we are dishonest about who we are at the deepest level. When we don't tell the truth about what our soul's journey is about, and our desires start to overtake our knowingness. So then there's the material realm, the great physical plane, a place where we learn the densest of lessons, become awakened to the forces of attachment, and hold us stopped and unfulfilled. So this is where you can become attached, and it's where most of us live. We mostly live in attachment. I mean, we're terribly attached to breathing, for example. That's something I'm not ashamed of. I think breathing is great. So if that makes me material, okay. Hi ho ho, how are you? Okay, you're quiet. You need to come off the mute to say anything.
I'm fine, and I want to hang out with the community this morning.
All right. Well, welcome to
Thank you.
The Sacred
All right.
Anatomy scene.
All right.
We're talking about the realms of creation. So when I wrote about this, the 13 realms of creation, each of the 13 realms has its own magical quality, a gift to give and lessons to be gathered by each soul. Every realm is holding the shadow and the light of its own potential, and that is made in that realm to stimulate balance and evenness. Striving for balance as we pass through these realms is critical, and why for centuries people have prayed for the long journey of the dead. I mean, this is something that in many different religions, there's this prayer that people are saying at the end of life, may you travel quickly through the cloud of unknowing, may you travel quickly through the hell realm, through purgatory. The transit through all these realms is inspired by lessons learned, the spiritual fortitude gained, and the personal developmental awareness accomplished for all. And this is just an introduction to the concept. It's not like an essay on it. It's just a quick little list. So then there's the subtle realm. This is the realm we work in. So astral realm. Oh, I didn't read the astral realm. A land dedicated to the shadow side of the human experience. It's below the hell realm. The astral realm is populated exclusively by astral energies, which are the manifestations of the shadow aspect of humanity. The rules are different, and what is acceptable way of behaving is different, and there's pure dark quality we might judge as evil, but it's the ultimate expression of the shadow aspect of the human soul. So hey, we're talented. And we've got to maintain a sense of humor about the whole thing, because frankly, there's nothing better than laughter, and it exists in all the realms. Just as access points are there in all the realms. So then there's the hell realm, the material realm, the subtle realm. So this is the one I haven't read. This is the realm we work in when we do sacred anatomy, energy, medicine, healings. Quantum reality moves from material to subtle, and some laws apply in one place that do not apply in the other, and it's the realm of astral travel or out of the body experiences. It's exquisitely colored and vibrant beyond anything we see or sense in the physical material reality of day to day. We cross the barrier into the subtle more easily than to any other realm, And there is a deep connection between material and subtle, a kind of knowingness that transcends one or the other. They augment and inspire each other. So this is a list that was in a class called Entities, Possessions, and Astrals, which is a class that I teach advanced students about how to deal with entities, possessions, and astrals. And in it, we learn about the 13 realms of creation. Here's my favorite realm. I'm going to skip to my favorite. The realm of the One. Here, all things exist as one. It is the great awakened state of real communion and connection, where there are no boundaries or separations, because everything is source and not source. The movement here is slow, deliberate, and has a profoundly high impact on all the other realms of creation. So ultimately, that's where we want to get. We want to get to the realm of the One. That's what we're working toward. And so I think I answered your question. We can enter from all 6 of those portals, doorways, openings, access points, open into these realms of creation. To really work in the realms of creation, the deity strata or the angelic strata is a little bit better. But
Well, thank you, because I wanted to understand how our sacred anatomy connected with all these other dimensions, realms, planes of existence. So, thank you so much for expanding my awareness of how we do connect with
yeah,
all creation.
we do connect with all creation. We're constantly in connection with all creation. And we just did a class where we worked with sensing in the universal, and that was an experience of connection with all creation. It's a powerful connection. So, okay, there were some questions in the chat. Let me just scoot over here and open
Yeah,
it.
let me just, Michelle said the image of the spiritual layer is so beautiful. Thank you, Michelle, for that.
Yeah,
And Chenson asks first, can you comment on the signature of the goddess?
the signature of the goddess. Yeah, the signature of the goddess is interesting. So there is a way that the goddess, for good or for ill, can kind of overtake someone a little bit, just like the Holy Spirit can overtake people, and it destabilizes them. Actually, they become overly interested in goddess worship, goddess behavior, goddess activity, goddess communication. Have you ever met anybody like that? It's just like floating through the room. I have a goddess body, and I'm wearing the goddess clothes, and I am, I got news for you. It's like this. We are all the goddess. Nobody's not the goddess. Everybody's a goddess. And you do not need a clothing budget to be the goddess. Really, the goddess. So the signature of like that particular signature, that she's talking about something that we work with in sacred anatomy energy medicine, where we deal with signatures, and one of the signatures on the list is the goddess signature. And that is it's like a obsession with the goddess. It's like an overriding need to experience some sort of goddessness. And you really see it in people who are in uh, positions of power, leadership, who are overly interested in their own presentation of beauty and elegance and aloofness and disconnection. Christine's laughing because she knows 27,000 people like this. But it's just it's really, really a signature because everything gets run through that filter, and it can be a big signature. I've encountered warrior signatures, but I've not encountered divine masculine signature anywhere. It's just like it doesn't appeal to most men. They're just, warrior, yes, nerd, yes, leaders, yeah, but this sort of thing that happened. I mean, remember all those books that were written was it the 80s when we had all those books about goddess stuff? The alphabet and the goddess, oh God, what were these? Some of the others, I can't remember them right now, but just Jean Shinola Bowden's books, and then there were goddess organizations and goddess classes. Today you're in your Athena. It's like, I've got news for you. They're all here. Every one of them. Green man. Yeah, there you go. I like the green man. I like manifesting the green man. How about you? That's all right. Green woman's all right too. Green woman. Yes, Barbara knows about that. She can grow anything. So this is the thing. It's the idea of the goddess or the god in capital letters is we will separate you from that. It is outside of you. You've got to earn your rights to be in that. And the truth is, just like everybody's empathic, everybody's a goddess. Everybody's a god. Everybody's divine. I mean, come on. You have the core at your center and the divine source exploding through you and radiating out in a million different ways. How could you not be the goddess or the god, the divine? I guess that's considered heretical in some circles. Fortunately, we have our little club here where it's not a problem. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Some people would probably call me a pagan, except I believe in everything. I don't know. It's like, I really do. I believe all of it. I think all of it is good.
Well, there's
I
sometimes
like
the sense of the wizard, right? Some people.
Oh, well, there's wizards running around, and there's witches, and there's goblins, and there's trolls, and, I mean, we have trolls that running the country right now. Basically, lizard trolls running the country. But I think that there's a real need for the myth of what humans are and the fantasization of what humans can be is so separate from Lion and Witch in the Wardrobe. You've got to go into a magic land through a portal. That's why I'm hesitant to call these things portals. They're points of access. But there's all these, like, you go through an experience, an initiation, and then you're in this other realm. And that's not exactly how it is. I mean, all the realms of creation we can access right now. We can access them in our daily life. We can access all 6 of the spiritual strata in our daily life. We have access to it all. We have access to all the knowledge of humanity. I mean, really, somewhere in you do understand calculus, somewhere in there. Or for some of us, it's like simple math, like, I know I can balance my checkbook. I know it's there somewhere. Anyway, God, I hope I answered your question. It felt very. Hey, Ridza. Hey, dude, how are you? It's good to see you. We're all moving to Canada. We'll be up soon.
I guess so.
Yeah, you got a spare bedroom for us? We'll all
I
be
got
up.
one.
Swear to God, man. We're on our way. Okay, shut up. Let's
Moving on.
moving on.
Well, Chenson has another
Oh,
excellent
good.
question.
Thanks, Jensen.
She asks or states and then asks, it seems that emotions are the basis of most sacred anatomy, energy medicine procedures and pathologies. You gave us a great example of how a mental construct is created with emotions. Can you please now comment and share additional examples of the impact and the significance of emotions as a basis of this work of consciousness expansion?
Okay, I'll try to answer. That's a very long question. I'll try to wrestle with it. Um, so the thing of it is that human beings can mostly understand their own emotional content. Mostly. I mean, that's not like all the time or consistent for every person, but most human beings understand when they're angry, or they understand when they love, or they understand when they're afraid. So emotional content is a commonality, which is why it ends up being a driver. So when we look at a sacred anatomy energy medicine procedure, what we're looking at is a way in to understanding the complexity of the soul's evolutionary development and its ongoing continuing growth. So when we have emotional content, it's only a way to actually help the person you're working with come into the procedure. We can work without emotion altogether, but it is helpful for people to know that that sort of undercurrent of anger that they have, or jealousy, or fear, or feeling of loneliness, that undercurrent is related to a breakdown at the soul level. And so when we find and locate the anatomy where this thing is happening, knowing the emotional content that the client can relate to, maybe not all the emotional content, but just something they can relate to, gives them a driver for transformation. Transformative change requires a shift from one place to another. You don't have it without it, right? So change is about, I was almost going to say change. But it is. I mean, it's really about the shift from one state to another, from one place to another, from one understanding to another. And it is that change is change, I mean, that's a true thing. But shift occurs only when we engage emotional content. I have yet to experience a change in my personal life that didn't include emotional content. And I think you could probably look at your own life and see that's true. And sometimes it's that you're right up against that thing that, like, somebody hurt you and you're really in that hurt and you can feel that hurt, and it's just right there. The hurt is everything, right? And as you begin to realize that it's not hurt, it's actually an anatomical holding, and if you can identify the hurt as the driver of the release, you can get there. So that's the value of it. It isn't that the work is about emotion, it's that emotion is the driver of change. So we got to have it. I mean, we got to find it. It's sometimes it feels like we're, digging a ditch to the other side of the world, but it's in there. Emotion is always in there. It's always there. And when one thing occurs that looks like this, it looks just like this, And then, but it's over here, and now it looks like this. And then we're thinking, well, how do these two things relate? It's almost always the emotion that pulls it together. So multiple changes in a life are generally emotion stirring, emotion activating, emotion delivering. And it is, in fact, that emotional content that is the driver of change. Okay. Now what? I I swear to God, don't give me days off because I get really goofy.
Well, thank you for that wonderful exploration into that driver of so many things. Thank you, Chenson, too, for that
Yeah, it was a
fabulous
great question. It
Right
was a
on.
great question.
Now,
Is there another one?
Naomi has a kind of a follow-up connection to that. She says, "Can you explain how time is recorded in the anatomy?" That's number 1. And then number 2, how does emotions connect into this too, which I think is her question about time. So, how is time recorded in the anatomy?
Oh, I wasn't speaking. Okay, so I was, you know what I was doing? I was looking at time. So, material time, in other words, time here on this planet in your electromagnetic world is moving like this. So it's a dual it's a dual vortex, but it actually is a figure eight, right? So that's time in our daily life. So time is never linear. We think it's linear, but it ain't linear. So, you know, it's like a figure eight in our daily life. How does time exist in the subtle anatomy? It's a spiral. It's a downward spiral, and it's moving down like this, and it's inside of the core. And ultimately, that spiral exits the structure and it sort of returns to the nothingness, except it doesn't. And there's this continuing vortex that would be soul time or cosmic time, the unfolding of unfathomable time. We don't understand how big that is. It's just impossible to really get your head around billions and billions and trillions and gazillions of years that aren't years but are space. So it's measured in spaciousness, essentially, time in the structure. So you have more time if you have more space in your subtle anatomy. I know, don't give me vacations. And here we've got, you know, okay, life, you know, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. But I don't know, have you ever had a philosophical conversation with the 3-year-old? You know, they're kind of like over here in, you know, and then you come over here and they're like, you know, they're only 3, but they're talking about things that are very sophisticated. And so there's this constant movement in our current lifetime, our current life. But ultimately, time is a spiral. And it's kind of all happening at once. Everything's happening at once. I mean, we're experiencing the birth of the cosmos and the death of the cosmos at the same time. It's happening all the time. We're experiencing, you know, the birth of stars and the death of stars and the explosion of planets, and we're experiencing it all. It's all happening all at once. Yeah, that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, that was a great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. It's really good. Really, really good. You have to go out to dinner afterwards because you have to talk about it. It's important. Anyway, that's what I know. It's all time is interesting, you know, because we age, or at least parts of us age, right? Yes, Naomi.
Thank you so much for explaining that. It's great to see you and everyone on the call.
Oh, it's so good to see you too. I miss
So
you.
good. Hi, everyone. Hi,
Love
everyone.
to Tom too. Love to Tom.
I will absolutely send that. I'm sure he sends his love to you too. I was interested. Thank you for sharing that about time and how it comes down in the spiral. Because I was wondering how there's some things like a signature or a wound that hits a person, and it seems to come up at certain periods of our lifetime that awareness arises. So I'm just wondering if that has to do with how time triggers, especially coming down the core, and if it's coming through that figure eight through our own electromagnetic field, if there's some kind of point of connection or acknowledgement that actually picks or goes ping, ping. This is now you can look at it if you're ready. Or maybe 6 months from now, you can look at it now.
Right. And that's the same thing with karmic wounds. You know, they have these cycles. So so everything has cycles. And like all trauma has cycles, all drivers for change, emotional content has cycles, and signatures can have cycles. They don't always have cycles, but they can have cycles. But the thing mostly that has cycles is you're the you-ness of your life, your identity, your sense of self, and how that connects to and relates to the four aspects. There's cycles. So there are cycles in a life where the emotional aspect is really strong, it's really high, it's teaching. And then there's a cycle where the physical aspect is teaching. You know, you're diagnosed with a disease, you have to deal with physical material reality, you've suddenly lost your job. These are all moments where the physical aspect is really teaching, really saying, okay, we're here to grapple with this. And everything is cyclical. It's all cyclical. You know, there isn't such a thing as like, I've learned this one lesson, now I'll never have to learn it again. No, actually, I've learned this one lesson and now I'm learning it again. And now I'm learning it again. And eventually you think, well, I won't have to learn it. No, eventually it just won't matter. It's like you will have assessed it enough that it doesn't matter. Clara, how are you doing? How are you doing? Speaking of cyclical, speaking of transformation, how are you doing, Clara?
I'm doing really well. I'm about to send an update, but I just needed to kind of process, but everything's holding well. I still feel supported, a cast.
You're standing okay?
Yeah, standing okay. Kind of realizing presence is so important for me to stand straight and take that time to just connect with that. That's been a big thing too. And since class, I mean, just seeing things differently. Yeah, it's been. I'm feeling good. I'll give a little more update in the group.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I would love to, you know, get a regular update from you.
Yes, I will. I will. I just it's been a week.
It has. It's been a week. It's
Yes.
been a cycle.
Yes. Yes. Duality.
But that is really the thing about physical problems, physical illness, physical issues. You know, anybody who's had back trauma or, you know, had cancer or anything knows that there's a kind of a cycle that it goes through. You know, your back is great, everything's great, and then it hurts again, you know, and you're not sure why, and you want to figure it out, and you work with it, and it brings you really present into the focus of your pain. So being focused by pain is a manifestation of the physical aspect. It's a teaching of the physical aspect. Some of us need more of it than others, unfortunately. But the presence of cycles in our life, the presence of signatures, of issues, So a signature is sort of just like when you sign your name. That's a signature. It's representative of you. So the representative in your life of a signature can look like a drug signature. You're taking a medication for a period of time. That is a signature in your structure. There's also signatures like dramatic change is a signature. You know, when you go from, you know, your ankle is normal and then you break your ankle, that's what's called dramatic change. And it's a signature. And you want to remove that signature, you want to release that signature so that you are more able to move to healing. And all of that is really critically important. But it's cyclical. It has cycles. And we move through these cycles, just like with karmic wounds. They're active and ready to be removed, ready to notice, and then they recede, and then they come back up. So you can trace back through your lifetime, like how you feel right now. If you have a karmic wound that's up, for example, and you're feeling crummy, you're feeling depressed and sad and confused. I mean, those are emotions that could be associated with a karmic wound, and it might have to do with an event that transpired in a past life. In fact, it always does. So in a past life, you had an experience that brought those three emotions up for you, and they may not have even been emotions you experienced. You might have been you might have three people in your karmic wound, each person experiencing one of those emotions. But when the karmic wound which you carry activates, you experience all three of those emotions. And they're up and they're kind of hitting you and hurting you and making you feel vulnerable. And so you analyze those emotions and you try to deal with those emotions, but it's actually the karmic wound that's causing the issue. So when you get to the bottom of it, you get a sacred anatomy energy medicine session and you ferret out where that wound is located in your sacred anatomy, and you look at it and you understand sort of how that wound occurred and who experienced those emotions. You find out that anytime the same three people are around each other in this lifetime, those emotions are present in some form or another, and somebody's got one of those emotions, or maybe somebody's got all three, but it isn't really about this lifetime. It's something past, something old. So that's a cycle, and it's a cycle that runs through lifetimes. It runs through many, many, many lifetimes. And so here we've got time spiraling, right? So yeah, here's one karmic wound, and then right below it, there's another one, and you hit it again, and then it's like over here, and you hit it again, and it moves around. So karmic wounds will move around on the cyclical unfolding, but they keep doing that until you resolve it. So once you resolve it, it doesn't need to appear again. Whereas if you psychologically work through a trauma, it will not be gone. It will come back. It will reoccur and reoccur and reoccur. You'll always be the 4-year-old who experienced the trauma, and it always comes back, and you're always 4. And then it comes back, and then you're 4 again, and then it comes back, and you're 4 again. And that goes on until you take the 4-year-old in hand and grow her up and give her the tools that she needs to cope with the trauma at the beginning. So it's the cycle that you heal. You know, you've heard abuse cycles, right? Childhood abuse cycles. One family member abuses, the next family member abuses, and it goes through generations, you know. If your mother abused you, chances are her mother abused her, and her mother her, and her mother her, or maybe her father. And it goes back through the generations. And it's this interesting genealogical track that you can follow back through the generations. And in the very, very beginning of the abuse cycle, the kid might have been locked in the closet because you know, bad guys were coming into the house and they had to be protected. But the kid didn't get that. The kid was only 2. The kid didn't understand bad guys were in the house. So then that kid locks his kid in the closet, right? So it's cycles. Cycles often make no sense whatsoever. Cycles are often like so nonsensical and chaotic. They're whimsical in their nature. Why people begin abusing each other is often based in a real need or a fear, and then it becomes sort of almost like an epigenetic compulsion that travels through centuries and centuries of abuse. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Yeah. And we can look at that. We can look at that in all kinds of, like, what makes a sociopath, what makes a psychopath, what makes a, you know, chronic liar, what makes someone who steals, what makes someone who feels what makes entitlement. Like, why do people feel so entitled? You know, walking around, I deserve this. Why? It's epigenetic insanity, you know? It's kind of reaching a peak about now, don't you think? We're at a peak of some sort. Yeah. Okay. There's more. There's more questions. Cheryl, where are they?
Yes.
Don't let me miss any.
Lots of love from all kinds of people. And
Aw.
Barbara Bazemore Kiska asks, can you share some information about biological chaos?
God, I hope so. Biological chaos. Oh man, it's so intense. Like all of a sudden, everything is fine, and then you have a cancer diagnosis. I mean, that's chaos, right? You're in the middle of that, boy, and you didn't know really how you got there, and there you are, biological chaos. But it's cellular too. I mean, cancer is cellular chaos. It's the cell kind of going crazy and reproducing itself insanely and making a tumor, and like, maybe this will work. You know, it's almost like a hysteria, and it manifests as a disease. So biological chaos it's almost something that's necessary for change. As a species, we kind of need biological chaos. This is what's called mutation. It's biological chaos. And we're sort of seeing a biological chaos happen in sexual identity, you know, and perhaps it was always there and now we're just seeing it, you know. But it's something that's happening. We have an awful, awful, awful lot of kids between 15 and 30, I guess, who are discovering that they'd rather not be the sex they were born, but they'd rather be another sex, or that they're neither and they're kind of in the middle or something. So this is kind of a biological chaos moment. And we have to look at it as a species. We have to see this. We have to take it seriously because we need male and female identifiers to reproduce the species. You know, it's necessary. So if people decide not to reproduce, which people are deciding not to reproduce, have you noticed? And also there is great difficulty in reproducing. Have you noticed that? Lots and lots and lots of pretty young people are needing to have help to reproduce. And I mean, it's not just a thing of like, I waited too long, you know, I'm already old, I'm like over 40 and now I want to have it, or I'm over 50 and now I want to have a baby. It's not that. It's like 25-year-olds having trouble. So this is biological chaos that's at a species level. And it's not just happening in the United States or in Europe. It's happening throughout Asia, throughout the world. And there's a real need for us to address biological chaos in, the world. And it's been going on a pretty long time now. I mean, it's actually been going on for a while. I would say it's safe to say it's really been going on about 30 years that we've been seeing this trend. It's a trend. I mean, if you read Rachel Carson, right, back in the day, you kind of had a little heads up of, oh, the pesticides and the things we're doing to help us create more food are actually not helping us create more health. So there's a need that we all have to understand that this biological chaos that's being created by additives into the environment, especially, and in our water, and in all of our food, is creating a problem. So the question remains, what do we do about it? As people who are living in this vast soup, what do we do about it? Well, my suggestion is we raise the frequency of the species enough that it doesn't matter. So that sounds crazy, but it's absolutely what we need to do. We need to kind of lift our awareness up to, Star Trek. We need to get there to, the Federation, for God's sake. We need to get there. We definitely need to go there because we're still stuck in a me, them, they're bad, I'm nice. No, you know what? If they're bad, I'm bad. We're all bad. We've all agreed to this. So the thing is, we have to stop agreeing to it and say that what's more important for me is my spiritual evolution. What's more important for me is my development as a human. And I need to become as spacious as possible so that I can stand for the truth of humanity, which is that we are one entity. We are not separate. We are one thing together. Humanity is we're like an aspen grove, We're each individual expressions, but it all comes from the whole. And we are quite beautiful, but we are connected, deeply connected. And if the continent of Africa is sick, then the continent of Europe is sick. We're all experiencing it together. And there is no way we can escape that. I think I just got really depressing. I'm sorry.
Well, on a similar vein, Kirsten asks, is there a particular aspect of the sacred anatomy devoted to filtering and processing unnatural chemicals, since light frequencies are routinely used to break down plastics and metal compounds, for example?
Yeah. It all works together. There isn't like one part of the anatomy that's like the big muscle that can pound, chemicals into submission. The whole structure is reliant on every part of it. So the 7 systems each have a portion that is devoted to filtering, cleansing, releasing. But if you look at the elimination system, which is where we release attachment, and you look at the energy of quantum resonance, that's a place where we could increase our health. The entire species could become healthier at understanding how to release the attachments we have to control and dominance, to manipulation. These what I would consider to be dark energies bordering on illness, bordering on pathology, are infecting us all. The only thing that I've found that can really be of help is to attune to or become awake to the universal source energies that are constantly bombarding us, and tuning in to the ones that have greater power over these more subterranean, shadow energies. Those are strong too. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. Evil is strong. But when we are in the battle of good against evil, which has become extremely apparent, then there is a real need to strengthen your good, to strengthen your power. So going forward in a really positive way to become unified with your own core, your own channel, your own expression of divine source, your own individuated nature, and really keeping it clear so that anytime you're confronted by bizarre darkness, you can, kind of use the Mr. Clean of universal love and light to scrub the grime off. I watched a TV show yesterday that I really, really liked. Of course, I can't even remember the name of it now because I watch television in a fairly unconscious state. But it was about cleaning these amazing works of art and discovering like who the actual painter was. And this guy had found this beautiful portrait of a Madonna hanging in a big, great house over a doorway. And it was just this exquisite, beautiful woman, beautiful picture. And he took it down and it turned out to be a Rubens. He like uncovered, but watching them clean the old varnish off, which makes the face yellow, watching them clean the 500 years of dirt off, which makes it grimy looking and dark, and seeing the beauty of this luminescent painting just come forth. It reminded me of clearings. It reminded me of energy clearings, because that's what we're doing. We're clearing the detritus, the excess, the waste. And when we clear the waste, we release the beauty. And that's what we do every single time. So, okay, another.
All right. Well, this is from Jensen, and she's taking us back to that lovely conversation about time. She says, interesting your explanation of tracking karma through cycles, as conventional understanding of karma relating to rewards and punishment. When people suffer, they are living their karma, as opposed to repetition of cycle until released. Can you please comment on that?
Well, I think we have a misunderstanding of karma that I think most people who've actually read anything about karma, in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Vedas would probably disagree with our current understanding of crime and punishment. It's like you did something wrong, now you're being punished. And it's karma. But the thing of it is that all karma is action. So it's actually physics. So karma is action, and the other form of karma is reaction. It's very simple. And it's definitely not punishment. You know, if bad things happen in your life, it's not because you did something bad past life. It's because in this present moment, a bad thing is happening. And it's an opportunity to do something powerful, spacious, and with love. So every time something happens to you, it's not about a past life. It's not about something you did. It's not about payback. The universe actually isn't wired that way. And that's a real patriarchy deal. Dump it, folks. It's not about payback. If we don't stand up for what is right and righteous and good, our actions will be less than that. Because in every moment of every day, we are creating our world, our life, our experience. In every moment of every day, we are responsible for the next moment. It's not some magical thing. I don't know if I answered your question. Did I sort of answer it, Jensen? Yeah? Okay, good. You guys have to help me. All right. Okay. Do we have another question? This is a great class, by the way. Everybody's really full of questions. I love it.
Good. Well, Clara actually has given us some feedback about the powerful session you gave her in this class that a bunch of us were just in. So she says, in your healing session of my back in the 9 levels class, you said my subtle light body can be made perfectly whole, and this can carry my physical body. That was so profound and offered the possibility of wholeness.
Yay. Thanks, Clara. Yeah, we have a thing called the light body, which is it's like inside us, and it sort of looks like a cookie cutter, like a little cutout of what we are right here. But it's what it is an echo. It's an echo of all the organs and all the parts of the physical body, and it's stored inside the physical body, and it's made of photon light. So it's light, and it's a light body within us, and it's a duplicate. So if I'm going to work on Clara's back, for example, I worked in her light body. I didn't stick my fingers into her actual spine. I worked on her light spine. It's like a replica of her actual spine, so it shows the scoliosis that she has, but it didn't. It can be worked with. It can be shifted. There's a picture of the light body. Yay! It's very happy looking, isn't it? So there it is. And you can actually engage with the light body and shift it, change it, help it improve. And you can know that the physical body is experiencing these challenges. But if we work with the light body to support the physical body can begin to rely on the light body. And you can start, I mean, if you have like a physical disability that you were born with, something that in a miraculous world would maybe regrow or change itself, like you were born with 4 fingers and missing a thumb. If it would be wonderful if in this world we could regrow that thumb. But you've taken those 4 fingers to be your way of being, and you've learned how to do everything with those 4 fingers. So you're doing okay. You're really okay. And the fact that I look at you and say, oh, well, gee, I'd like to help you get a thumb back, isn't necessarily real. So we can't live in the impossible, but we can live in the possibility, which we could stimulate the growth of a light body thumb. So that's essentially what we did with Clara, who has been born with particular situation. And so we stimulated a light body environment that would be stronger, stronger, stronger. And then we put supports in to support her spine. And that can be helpful. If there are people that need to have surgeries, that need to have interventions, that need to have medication. If you have diabetes, don't stop taking your insulin, but have a sacred anatomy energy medicine practitioner rebuild your pancreas so your insulin works better. Everything works better. And your light body is supporting your pancreas so it doesn't go into a damaged state. That's our hope. Can we prove that's happened? Yeah, in a bunch of cases it has. Going good. People's rebuilt spleens are doing good, and kidneys, and uteruses and that kind of thing, holding space in the body, because that's really what we're looking at. We're looking at how do we use the light as an adjunct to the electromagnetic. So it's the subtle light and the electromagnetic, and there's enough subtle light in the physical body that we can mold with it, we can use it. And when we use the light body to support itself, to support the self of the physicality, we're essentially pulling it into correct position and telling it to do something specific. Now, is this going to help somebody who's in absolute agony and who has a pinched nerve? Maybe not. It might not. They might need to have an intervention of sorts. So we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We do need Western medicine. We do need it because it can be helpful. If you break a leg, you cannot cast it energetically. You have to have a physical cast. We live in an electromagnetic world. We have to pay attention to that. So, I think the key here is sacred anatomy energy medicine is about being smart about who you are and what you are, and including everything. So Clara now has some hope because she has noticed there's been a change. Using subtle energy, we accomplished a shift. And we can keep doing it. We can stay on top of it. And hopefully keep her on a good track. All right. Yeah, thanks, Clara. Is there something else? Anything else?
Yes. Naomi has asked, Desda, can you please speak about the legacy strata and spiritual access to the emotion of compassion?
Okay, those are 2 different things. The legacy strata is in the primal layer. And the legacy strata is, so first we have at the very bottom the instinct strata, and then legacy is the next one. So if you see the immunity there, you see that tree, the roots are in instinct, the trunk is in legacy, the branches are in your DNA, the epigenetics, then tribe is your leaves and your, the fruit of the tree. So we have a legacy strata, and that legacy includes belief systems, family units, and the legacy of the family, the inherited understanding, but it also is the legacy of your chosen family. So if you move to, like, you're raised Episcopalian and you become a Tibetan Buddhist as an adult, you have both legacies, you have both traditions. You still are an Episcopalian, even though you're following a Tibetan Buddhist practice that's informing the birth Episcopalians' legacy. And so there's a way that we combine systems. Some of us have pulled, deep understanding about the earth from Native American tribes, from tribal wisdom and from epigenetic feelings that have come up in connection to places. Like, I remember going to Delphi and feeling like I, could not leave. I have to stay here. And my poor husband, a one-day visit turned into 3, and there we were at Delphi, and I had to go look at every single rock, So there's just sometimes the legacy can be so strong that you absolutely have to pay attention to it. Like if you're walking in the woods and the trees suddenly start talking to you, like, what is that? Where did that come from? Where did that connection come from? Is it spiritual? Yeah. Is it also part of who you are and in your legacy? Yeah, it is. So that's what the legacy strata is about. And then you had another question. What was the other part of the question? There's something about the
compassion.
Oh God! And what was it about compassion? She had it was a question.
Spiritual access to the emotion of compassion.
Well, it is an emotion, but much like spaciousness, compassion is a way of life. Compassion is a practice. It's a spiritual practice, like kindness too. Also, His Holiness said, "My religion is kindness." Good religion. That there are these emotions that we have that transcend this kind of driver vibe, right? Does compassion drive transformation? Yes, completely. It does. So when we experience compassion for someone who's behaving like an ass, we look at them, we think, oh God, if we can just be compassionate in just that moment, it opens up the energetic arena to a shift, possibly for them, possibly for you, possibly for everyone. So compassion is bigger than an emotion, and it at the edge of the sacred anatomy is really the seat of compassion in the structure. I used to call it the seat of Kuan Yin. But it's the part of us that lives in that compassionate nature all the time. So if you attain the edge using the sacred anatomy energy medicine practice, the edge, if you attain the edge and you live from the edge, it doesn't take away your personality or your funniness, your humor, your ability to be entertaining, or your ability to be nasty. I mean, it doesn't take anything away, but it adds to your capacity to experience compassion if you're at the edge, because you're less invested in me and mine and all about this. And you're really much more about the bigger, more expanded self, which is the compassionate self. So spaciousness, compassion, love, the ability to stand and witness, the disciplines of kindness and care, all of these things are larger than just being an emotion. I mean, I guess you can look at other emotions that way. You could look at anger that way. Anger could be a lifestyle commitment. You could just be an angry person going through life committed to being angry in any moment that but the fact is most people don't survive in that. Most people, that it kills them eventually. So I mean, in some ways that's good news, it phase out, but compassionate nature doesn't do that. Compassionate nature expands you. Compassionate nature is in fact a spiritual practice. So opening up to that in
Thank
yourself
you.
is really important. You're welcome, Naomi. Thank you for the great question. Is there another great question in there, Cheryl?
Yes, Naomi is full of all kinds of good questions,
Well,
and
she
as I've
always is.
scanned through, I think this is the latest one, and this is actually quite interesting, so I'd love to hear what you say.
Uh-oh.
Can you explain how and why the sacred anatomy loves to hear the voice of a person when it comes up for healing?
The sacred anatomy loves your voice. It loves your own voice. So let's just do an experiment. Should we do an experiment? All right. So think of somebody that you really like and just put your hands on your heart and say their name. So I'm going to say Bobby. It's my husband. And you feel a little jump, right? You feel a little like your heart went, "Oh, that person." Now put your hands on your heart and say your own name, Desda. Can you feel the difference in your body when you do that? Do you feel the opening and the grounding? So when you say your own name, your structure reacts. Your subtle energy says, "Are you talking about me?" Opens its eyes and reacts. So let's do another experiment. So let's do this one. So now say your own name 3 times. Desda, Desda, Desda. And feel that your throat is more open just by saying your name. But now let's bring your spirit into your body and then say your name. So, beloved spirit, please come into my hands. So this is your spirit who usually lives outside your body. So, beloved spirit, please come into my hands, come into my head. And now come into my throat. And now with the spirit in your throat, you can feel actually the pressure of it opening. So put your hand here and your hand here and say your name 3 times. Desda, Desda, Desda. What did you notice? What did you notice just then? Nirut, what did you notice? Expansion, right? Yeah. So your own name expanded, but it's your voice that activated the sacred anatomy. So try this. Do you have a place in your body that hurts? Your physical body where you have pain? Nobody? Nobody's got any pain at all? All right, so I know you do. So put your hands on your pain point, wherever it hurts. No matter what you're doing for it, put your hands on it. And say what. So if it's your belly, let's say it's your belly. I love you, belly.
I love you, shoulder.
You're the best shoulder. You're the best belly. You're the best back. I love you so much. You're so beautiful. You're so wonderful. Look at all the things you do. You digest my food. You help me move. You help me stand up. Look at how powerful you are, shoulders. Look at what you hold up. You hold up my whole body. You're doing such a great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you say that out loud to your body, it makes a bigger impact than if you say it in your head. You just say it in your head, right? Just if you just say it in your head, it's not gonna come forth. So what we really want to do is bring miracles forward into our world, right? We want to produce the miracles. The first miracle you could start with is getting yourself out of pain. And how does getting out of pain work? Well, there's lots of different things you got to do, but the first thing you can do is make peace with that part of your body. So if you've hurt your shoulder, then say, I'm sorry you got hurt. You've been such a good shoulder. You didn't deserve to get hurt. And I'm going to do everything I can to help you. And you can rub your shoulder and you can say nice things to your shoulder or your neck or your back or your eyes. You can say, you're the best eyes anybody could ever ask for. Thank you so much for seeing the world like you do. Thank you for everything you give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And in thanking it, don't just say it, feel it. Feel gratitude for your body, for whatever part of your body isn't working right. If it's your teeth, oh, thank you, teeth. I love you. I love you, teeth. And as a matter of fact, every time you brush your teeth, say, I love you, teeth, and brush them. When I clean my glasses, which I have to do several times a day, you know what I say? I love you, eyes. Thank you, glasses. I love you, eyes. So taking a moment to just align yourself with this sort of truth of who you are, which is a living, vibrant, breathing being with a voice. Ancient beings knew that the human voice was a sacred thing. Why else would we raise our voice in song to worship, which we do in almost every indigenous culture and every religion? There's some form of worship that involves speaking or singing. And when we raise our voice, we are fully engaged. You can't not be. When you sing, your whole body is vibrating, like your arms, your legs, your torso is vibrating with the sound of your voice. And when you're speaking, the same thing is happening. So every time you speak, every time you do anything with your voice, it's a sacred and holy act. So make it a sacred act to say to your body, thank you for supporting me. It's, it's better than a gratitude journal, because that's like, here's my gratitude journal. I was like, it's over here. It's outside of your body. But this is inside of your body. This is the real deal. This is where real gratitude lives. So if you're truly grateful for someone, say it to them. If I'm grateful for Cheryl and all the work she does, I need to say, thank you, Cheryl, for all the work you do, right? If I don't, she goes around going, I'm not appreciated. Well, how does you think your body feels? Have you ever thanked your pancreas? Have you ever thanked your liver? How about your lungs? Look what you put them through, for God's sake. You eat all that sugar? Look what you put them through. So say you're sorry, apologize for being a bad body owner, bad body steward, and start doing the good things for your body. But in the meantime, tell it you love it. Go through every part of your body. I love you, blood. Thank you for making red blood cells and white blood cells. Thank you thank you for chasing the infection out of my body. Thank you for doing everything right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See what that does for your body. Oh my goodness. I'm going to make a suggestion. This is a spiritual practice, you know? And even better if you can sing to it, you know? I love you, little wrist. You're the very best wrist. I love you today and always. Good job, wrist. Come on. We liked it in kindergarten. We'll like it now. The truth is, we are still in kindergarten. The species is in kindergarten. So start, having fun, playing, thanking your body, and being cheerful about it. I really went off the deep end there, but I hope you went with me. And yeah, way off. But that's why we talk to our body, because there's a resonant quality, and because our sacred anatomy longs to hear our voice raised in praise for all creation. It's waiting. When you chant, chant out loud. When you pray, pray out loud. When you sing, sing out loud. Don't just sing in your head. Yeah, let it go. Let it fly.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, Naomi. We have one more question from someone other than Naomi. As good as her questions are. There's no other questions? That's it? Does Naomi have another question?
Just thank you for the extra time that you gave us today. And it's so wonderful to see you. So thank you. I'm sure there's more questions, but I can wait. So
There
thank
are
you.
more questions. But I've got a question for you. What do you guys want me to teach you? I need help. Tell me what you need me to teach, and I will be very happy to do it. Send me an email. Send it to Desda at yoursacredanatomy.com. Desda, here's what I want you to teach. Thank you, Chenson. She responded to light body right away. That was really good. New anatomy, says Kirsten. What does Kirsten say? We need a lecture series or something. What was she saying?
She says, New Anatomy, we need a lecture series on your latest insights into sacred anatomy, energy medicine.
Yeah, I don't think it would even be, I think it would be a long series. Supporting people during surgery. Yeah, I have the surgical support class is coming in
January.
the new year. Yeah, the new year. A bunch of stuff is going to come in the new year, but I'm actually I think I might take kind of a break through the rest of this year because I'm writing another book. So I have to finish my book, and I do need to write my second edition of Your Sacred Anatomy. Just saying. So I have to do that. Supporting families in crisis. On October 5th, I'm doing a Sangha. And that Sangha is totally free. Tell everybody, if you know anybody in crisis, anybody who's in trauma, come to that because it's going to be 30 minutes meditation, living prayer, finding peace in the midst of chaos. When I say living prayer, I mean prayer that engages our physical bodies and our subtle structure. So I'm going to do that, hoping to help people lift their spirits and feel better about everything. If you're interested in learning about the sacred anatomy and you have never taken the Edge class, Cheryl is getting ready to teach it. She's already taught the Sacred Anatomy Secret, but she's coming up on the Secret. You can enroll in, you can listen to the video. There's a video available. And Tasha Weber will be teaching her Sacred Anatomy Secret October 5th, or 4th rather, excuse me. You can catch both of those on our website. Sacred Anatomy Edge Express with Cheryl is coming up on September 26th, which is exciting. Even if you've taken this class before, take it again. It's really valuable. And Tasha Weber, who lives on the East Coast, is teaching October 18th. So we have 2 Sacred Anatomy faculty who are stepping out to teach. We just had Regina Schulman, who did a class for people who work with other people in crisis. She just taught in Maine. So all over the place, we're trying to get this out, and we have a whole bunch more teachers who are getting ready to launch their classes. And we have another Friday Anatomy October 10th. So come back October 10th from 10 to 11. And yeah, an anatomy series might be fun. Yeah, so come, look at my hair, doesn't look the same anymore. I got to do a new picture. Fridays, October 10 and November 14. 2 Fridays. Thanks, Christine. You're always so nice and complimentary. Thank you, dear. And I really appreciate you coming to classes, Christine. You're just a lovely, lovely, lovely being. You are indeed. Okay. So I want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for playing. Cheryl, write down all the good ideas. And Hosanna wants your email. And please come to classes and be part of this community. I love seeing you guys. It's always fun to blabber on and, and laugh with you all. It's always fun. And BBK, mend that ankle. Clara, stay in touch and keep standing straight and tall. I love it. Susan, it's great to see your beautiful smile. Adrian, love to you. Love to Hungary, love to where you are and who you are. You're a beautiful light in the world. Take care, Hosanna, my friend. Be careful, be awake and alive. Love to you, Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in from France. We really, really appreciated it. Christine, once again, lovely to see you. Always such a beauty. You're such a great heart. Marie, I love you. Come back again. Eliza, so sweet to see you. You're such a beauty. It's wonderful to see you, darling. And Fee, I like the fish. Jensen, never stop asking your questions. They're always appreciated. Every single question. Kirsten, good to see you, darling. Yeah, and Rosamond, I didn't get to see your face, but like seeing your name. Cheryl, thank you very much for your help, and thanks to Bobby for his help. We look forward to seeing you all again soon. Blessings and love, and stay compassionate. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.